Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this fun Joy Fold card using the Sweet as Peach stamp set and a quick and easy sponging technique that allows you to add two colors to an image. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how I got started. I'm going to start with my sentiment for this project, so I'm going to take my Pick Your Banner punch and I'm going to slide in that piece of basic white cardstock all the way to the end, and I'm going to punch. I'm going to start with my sentiment, Have a Peachy Day, and I'm going to ink that up and stamp it right close to the end where I punched. There we go. So now that I have that done, I can bring in my focal point. I'm using my basic white cardstock and the multiple peach image here. And I'm first going to ink it up in the pale papaya. And then I'm going to bring in my dauber here and I'm going to pop a little color onto those peaches with the Calypso Coral. Once I have that done, I can breathe on it. That reactivates the ink and stamp 1, 2, 3, and I've got these beautifully shaded peaches. I just love the way this looks. Next, I'm going to bring in this leaf image here. I'm going to ink it up with my Pear Pizzazz, and then I'm going to bring in my dauber, and I'm going to pop some color using the Old Olive onto those sticks and some of the leaves, just to add a little bit of depth. Once I have that done, I'm going to breathe on it, line it up. Let's see here, I got to turn it a little bit, and stamp. Now your Stamparatus would be fantastic for this project, especially if you're doing multiples. Once I have that done, I can bring in my sentiment panel, and I'm going to ink up this group of 3 little flowers using my pale papaya, and I'm going to pop that down here in each corner. And then I'm going to bring in this little double leaf image, and I'm simply going to pop that onto the little flowers, a couple of times, I think. I'm going to tuck this one right in here. There we go. And that completes my inside panel. So we're ready to start assembling. I'm going to bring in my cardstock base for this project, and I have scored this at the 5.5 inch mark, and I'm going to fold this over. I want this flap to be on my right hand side. Next, I'm going to adhere this beautiful designer series paper down. It's hard to decide which side of the patterns you love better on this pack. And I'm going to adhere that in place. Next, I'm going to bring in my balmy blue piece of cardstock. I'm going to open this up and adhere it in the center of the left panel. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in my strip of pale papaya here. I'm going to fold it on the score line. And I'm going to adhere this right down on top of the balmy blue. So I'm going to add some adhesive on to the back. And I want that scored edge on my left. There we go. Next, I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to adhere it down with the striped edge showing on the front of this folded pale papaya panel. And while I'm adhering, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to place my inside panel right on the inside of that same cardstock that is scored here as the inside panel. Now that I have that done, I can close my card, 1, 2, and I'm ready to decorate the front. I'm going to bring my bone folder in and score those nicely so they're nice and tight. I'm going to place my sentiment here and my image to the left. So if this strip is a little too long at this point, you can trim it. I'm going to flip this over and use my dimensionals on the back. Don't you love the way our cardstock is thick enough that if you are a little crooked, you can re-stamp on the other side? I'm going to place that right there on the right-hand side of that front striped panel, and then I'm going to add my peach image. Now, because this is going to rest on this sentiment piece, I only need to add dimensionals to the 3 sides so that they are the same height. I'm going to remove those dimensional backings, and I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here to the sentiment strip so that it will adhere nicely and hold in place. And I'm going to add that, I'm thinking right there. Isn't that just lovely? I love the colors in this paper. Next, I'm going to bring in our champagne rhinestones and my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to add some rhinestones. Let's see, I'm going to take one of my large rhinestones, and I think I'm going to pop it right here beneath the banner. And then I'm going to take one of my medium rhinestones and add it right about there. And finally, one of my small rhinestones I'm going to pop there by the peaches. So there you go. I think this is a lovely card that anybody would enjoy receiving. And of course, I'm in Georgia, so this is perfect for us here in the Peach State. I think you're really going to enjoy using the Sweetest Peach stamp set and the coordinating dies. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.